We're looking a little rough because it's been rough.
And our last night there, you could hear a lot of gunfire.
Well, the protests on the streets of Egypt have cut vacations and honeymoons and business trips for thousands of Canadians. Weary travelers have begun arriving at Canadian and European airports, but with barricades and curfews surrounding the airport in Cairo, leaving the country was not easy. Helena Bellina was near the end of her vacation when the protests reached a boiling point this weekend. While Daryl Hellier was just beginning his 11-day trip when he decided to head home. They both landed back in Canada yesterday, and right now they both join us live. Helen is in our studio. Daryl is with us from Montreal, and good morning to you both.
Hi. Hi.
Or maybe I should say great morning to you both,
Yes,
and
yes,
welcome back.
It is great, thank you.
You had said when you got back how great it was to be back.
It was to be back, and you know what, when I remember those miners coming from the mines, they kissed the ground, I felt the same.
Did you really?
I felt the
You didn't
same.
even mind the snow at that point?
No, I don't mind now.
Daryl, tell me, because in Helena's case, it was the end of her tour. She was scheduled to fly back. That was not the case with you. You had only just arrived?
I just arrived. I arrived on Friday around 4:30, unaware that there was a curfew in place at the time, and unable to get a taxi, and had to really fend for myself to get to a hotel. I couldn't get to the hotel I actually booked, and fortunately I found a driver that helped me out a great deal and got me to a safe hotel.
And what were you thinking at the time in terms of your safety?
Well, you're approaching these protests, all these people out in the streets. You're seeing burning tires rolling down the street. You're seeing cars overturned. You see people holding weapons, clubs, knives, and they're all trying to get into your taxi. There was already people in my taxi. We just dropped them off, and all of a sudden more people jumped into the taxi. Unable to understand what they're saying, you're certainly very scared to what's going to happen next.
Oh, I can imagine. And Helen, for you, when you got to the airport, and knowing that this was a scheduled flight,
yes,
it was the end of your tour, your trip was over,
yes,
but still, you must have been concerned when
yes,
to get through all of that.
Yes, because when we left our hotel, which is on the outskirts of Cairo, it's in Giza, we were left very early, around 7:30, and I realized that the seriousness of the situation was when our tour guide told us to move back to the end of the bus, pull the shades on the windows and lay low, so that then I realized it's really serious. And on our way to the airport, highway was empty almost until we reached the airport. We saw tanks on the way, and groups of people, but it was quiet.
Would you go back?
I will go back one day, because I missed the Cairo Museum, to see the Cairo Museum, which was my main reason to go to Cairo, so I will one day go back.
And Daryl, tell me how difficult it was for you to make arrangements to get back home.
Fortunately for me, a friend here in Montreal had contacted me at my hotel, and since we were unable to get on the internet, he was able to arrange for a flight for me, which consequently was canceled. But however, when I got to the airport, they put me on an earlier flight, and after about seven and a half hours of waiting, we finally took off. So I was actually very fortunate to get a flight so quickly and easily at the time.
Given that you didn't get to complete your trip there, would you go back?
Absolutely. I didn't get to see anything.
So as soon as things settle down, maybe you'd be happy to jump back on a plane and head over?
Absolutely. There's so much history in Egypt, and so much I want to see and experience that I certainly will go back when it's safe again to go back.
Yeah, reading through your blog, it certainly wasn't the trip that you had anticipated. Thank you for joining us this morning.
My pleasure.
Take care, Helen, and thank you.
Thank you for having me.
And now the